Bhagavad Gita class. So please, those who are desirous to attend the class, please stay back and you can attend the class. It will be given by His Grace Radhapati Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
लाइट चालू कराना बोल देना सब.
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च. श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितान्तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललितां श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते. तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So welcome everybody to today's Sunday evening Bhagavad Gita class. Today we will be reading from chapter 4, verse number 14. Namam karmani limpanti. Can you repeat? Namam karmani limpanti. Name karma phale spruha. Iti mam yobi janati. Karma bir na sabadhyate. So, we will skip the word to word meaning. We will directly go to the translation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Purport. As there are constitutional laws in the material world stating that the king can do no wrong, or that the king is not subject to the state laws, similarly the Lord, although He is the creator of this material world, is not affected by the activities of the material world. He creates and remains aloof from the creation, whereas the living entities are entangled in the fruitive results of material activities because of their propensity for lording it over material resources. The proprietor of an establishment is not responsible for the right and wrong activities of the worker, but the workers are themselves responsible. The living entities are engaged in their respective activities of sense gratification, and these activities are not ordained by the Lord. For advancement of sense gratification, the living entities are engaged in the work of this world, and they aspire to heavenly happiness after death. The Lord, being full in Himself, has no attraction for so-called heavenly happiness. The heavenly demigods are only His engaged servants. The proprietor never desires the low-grade happiness such as the workers may desire. He is aloof from the material actions and reactions. For example, the rains are not responsible for different types of vegetation that appear on the earth, although without such rains there is no possibility of vegetative growth. Vedic Smriti confirms this fact. In the material creations, the Lord is only the supreme cause. The immediate cause is material nature by which the cosmic manifestation is made visible. The created beings are of many varieties, such as the demigods, human beings, and lower animals, and all of them are subject to the reactions of their past good or bad activities. The Lord only gives them the proper facilities for such activities and the regulations of the modes of nature, but He is never responsible for their past and present activities. In the Vedanta Sutra, it is confirmed, Vaishamya Narigrahanya Na Sapekshtavat. The Lord is never partial to any living entity. The living entity is responsible for his own acts. The Lord only gives him facilities through the agency of material nature, the external energy. Anyone who is fully conversant with all the intricacies of this law of karma or fruitive activities does not become affected by the results of his activities. In other words, the person who understands this transcendental nature of the Lord is an experienced man in Krishna consciousness, and thus he is never subjected to the laws of karma. One who does not know the transcendental nature of the Lord and who thinks that the activities of the Lord are aimed at fruitive results, as are the activities of the ordinary living entities, certainly becomes entangled himself in fruitive reactions. But one who knows the supreme truth is a liberated soul fixed in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. So today, this particular verse which we are now discussing, this chapter is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. We are living in the material world. So Krishna is informing us what things are like in the spiritual world, which is the real world, or which is our true home. We have come from that place. Who are we here? Foreigners. We don't belong to this place, material world. Why? Because we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. And what is the spirit soul? It is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. So we actually belong to Him, and that is our home. But then, because of our offense, because of our rebellious nature, not conforming to the laws of the Lord, we have been assigned to the material world, which is like a jail. One who offends the state's laws is put in a jail. So this is a kind of a jail. So what is the population of the jail? Is it more than the city or less than the city? Very less. So this is what is our true state. The entire population of this world is so minute that the real world which is outside is the spiritual world. So we come from there. This material world. Here every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That is known as karma. It comes like good for good and bad for bad. Here the Lord is explaining about His own nature. He says He is not affected by karma. Karma is for the inmates of the jail. The rules for the inmates of the jail are different from the rules for the police or the head of the state. They are free, whereas those who are in the jail are under bondage. They don't have the liberty. So they have to follow strict rules. So one of the strict rules by which the Lord governs this world, the material world, is the law of karma. And who is this lawkeeper? Durga. He does not get entangled in the reactions of his activities. If you break the red light in the signal, you will be penalized. But the king is above his law. The police commissioner has the liberty to break the red light. That's the difference. This creation is for the living entities who want to enjoy separately from the Lord against their constitutional position. What is the constitutional position of the living entity? The constitutional position of the living entity is to serve the Lord, to be the servant. How to understand this? Very simple. We have these fingers. It's part of the body. Okay. If the finger is picking up the food, what is it supposed to do with the food? Put it in the mouth. Am I right? Put the food in the mouth. That is the duty of the finger, right? That is why the finger is used, to pick up the food and put it in the mouth. But if the finger decides, let me hold the food in my hand, I want to have it, I will not give it to the mouth, then what happens? What happens? Does the finger get nourishment? If the food goes into the mouth, it will get digested. And then what happens? The whole body gets nourishment and the finger also gets nourishment. Finger is part of the body. We are part of the Lord. You understand that? We are part of the Lord. Finger is part of the body. Our duty is to serve the body. The finger's duty is to serve the body. Our duty is to serve the Lord. Okay? If we don't do that, that means we are causing disturbance. If the finger refuses to put the food in the mouth, the finger is causing disturbance. It is diseased. It has to be treated. And that treatment is done in the jail. That is why one who breaks the laws of the state is sent to the jail for reformation, for improving, for correcting oneself. In the same way, we have been sent to the material world for reformation. The laws apply to us will not apply to the Lord. There is a difference between the Lord and us. We should know that. That is a very important thing to be known. But the Lord is also kind to us. How is He kind? For those who are in the material world, first of all, He has given the scriptures. Scriptures are His message to us, telling us what to do, what not to do, how to behave, how not to behave. If we behave wrongly, our punishment will increase. If we behave correctly, we can be relieved from the jail. That is the point. So that guidance is giving through the scriptures. Scriptures means the Shastras. But there are those people who are living their life based on the Shastras. They are known as sadhus. Sadhus live their life in obedience to the laws of God. But among the sadhus, there will be one person who will come down to our level, hold our hand and take us forward, tell us how to connect to God as per the Shastras. That is the Guru. how does the Guru come in our life? Only when we desire. He will not be forced upon you. And you will get a Guru if you sincerely desire that enough of my suffering in this jail. Okay, tell me one thing. Anybody here who has no problem at all? Please raise your hand. I'll be so happy to know that. Everybody has some problem. That itself is proof. In the jail, you don't get an AC and a Dunlop pillow. You understand? Though we have the best of plans, still something will go wrong and we have to face reversals in life. We have to face calamities. Why is it happening? Why is it happening? Does the Lord not know that we don't want this? Is anybody asking for disease? कोई ऐसा प्रार्थना करता है कि मुझे टाइफाइड दो? Nobody ever prays like that. Then why do we get diseased? Because we are asking for good health. You will be wondering, why is this? Because the scheme here is buy one, get one free. So you are asking for good health, along with good health will also come disease. Why? Because this is the material world. Without asking also you are given. Because this is not the place to enjoy. Remember that. This is not the place to enjoy. This is the place to reform, to correct yourself, to understand what the Lord wants from you, and to correct your rebellious mentality. That is why this material world has been created. Material world has also been created by the compassion of the Lord for one more reason. We want to enjoy which is not we are not designed for it. So He is telling, okay my dear, you want to enjoy? I'll give you one facility. What is that facility He is giving us? He says, I will give you a material body. This body that we are having is made of matter. Can we say, let us meet in this room after 100 years? Is it possible? Why? Why is it not possible? Because we know our limitation. We know how long we can live, maximum. Up to, what is our present age plus 100? Do you expect to be living for that age? Not at all. So we have a limited shelf life. That is because of this material body. Material body has a limited shelf life. उसके ऊपर नहीं चलेगा वो. It doesn't work beyond that. The best of medicines, the best of yoga, whatever you do, उसका limitation है. It has to cease after that. That is known as death. At that time what happens? The soul leaves the body. What is the soul? Soul is part and parcel of Krishna. It is of spirit nature. It is not of material nature. It never dies. It only leaves the body and it takes another body. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra na mohyati. That is the nature of the soul. So, since that is our true nature and we are at the wrong place because of our wrong actions and wrong mentality, we have been put here for correction. So the Lord is reminding us of that and telling us how He is different from us. Namaya karma phale spruha. We here are working for enjoying this temporary happiness that is given in this material world. And that also you will get only if you work for it. You don't get it without working for it. It doesn't come free. You have to pay the price for it. And that is the work that you have to do to gain that happiness. And what is this happiness? How is it gained? Through the senses. We have 5 senses. The pleasure that you experience when the senses interact with the sense objects, that is known as happiness in this world. In this world, not in the spiritual world. So, that happiness which you get is also short-lived because the body itself is short-lived. Everything here is designed to be temporary. By design it is temporary. It cannot be permanent. Roj kuan khodo, roj pani piyo. That is the rule of this land. Every day you have to work. Are we not going to the office every day? Are students not going to the school every day? Why? Are women not cooking at home every day? Why women? Even men cook. Everybody cooks. If you don't cook at home, you will have no food at home, right? You have to work. Nothing comes ready-made here. The world is designed like that. Designed because we have to reform ourselves. At least then you start thinking, अरे भाई, what is this? इससे मुझे कोई छुटकारा नहीं है क्या? Don't I have an escape from this? So, okay, now we will briefly speak about Govardhan Puja, which is just after a day or two. This is part of Diwali. And why we are going to speak about Govardhan Puja? Because how the Lord acts. The Lord takes care of his devotees. Indra is the Lord's devotee. But Indra got puffed up with pride. Because he became proud, and pride is one thing Lord will not tolerate. There are 6 anarthas or 6 defects in our personalities. And what are these? Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya. Mad is pride, one of them. And now Indra had developed pride. Because he had powers to bestow rain and people were worshipping him, he thought he is all powerful. So when the Vrajavasis were told by Krishna, don't worship Indra, instead of that worship Govardhan. And they followed Krishna. Krishna convinced them. And they followed Krishna and they arranged an elaborate puja for Govardhan. So Indra was denied his puja. Indra got offended. And he said, I will teach you a lesson. And what did it bring? Heavy rains. Rains that will devastate, not ordinary rains. He sent the Samvartak clouds, which come at the time of Pralay. He sent such clouds. So naturally the Vrajavasis were in difficulties. They turned to Krishna, which is their natural way, because they are pure devotees of Krishna. And when they turned to Krishna, Krishna, what did he do? He did not fight with Indra. मैं तुझे अभी ठीक कर दूंगा. No. He was a small boy. He was a child. He just behaved as a child would behave. He went to play. You will be wondering, what did he go to play? He went to play and he lifted the Govardhan hill. That's what he did. That was his play. Now this is a divine act and no ordinary person can do it. He just showed Indra how insignificant you are, Indra. What do you think of yourself? You are sending the Samvarta clouds, you are causing devastating rains. See how I am protecting the Brajavasis. I can lift the hill. And then Indra's pride was quenched. It had to become, he had to subdue. He could not anticipate this kind of a thing that the Lord would do. This is the way the Lord works. He has his potencies, he does not display it, but he brings it out when it is required. Here it was required to teach Indra a lesson. And for what a lesson? He could have actually punished Indra in some other way. But since Indra is a devotee, he thought, let me punish him in this way. Let me humble his pride. Because a devotee has to be humble. That is the nature of a devotee. Otherwise, he is not acceptable in the kingdom of God. So see how Krishna works. He works very beautifully. He works in such a way that, and also one more thing he did. When he lifted the Govardhan hill, all the gopis, gopas and all the citizens of of Vrindavan, Braj, they came under the shelter of the Govardhan hill. And there Indra was sending thunderbolts after thunderbolts on the Govardhan hill. But nothing was happening to the hill because the hill was experiencing the touch of Krishna, the touch of the Supreme Lord. And that itself is so magical. He became enthused. He became all powerful. Nothing was affecting him. And again when Indra was baffled, ये क्या हो रहा है? My thunderbolt is having no effect. Because beneath the Govardhan is Krishna, the Supreme Lord. And then this way, Indra learnt his lesson the hard way. He had to be humbled and he did humble. That is the difference. if another person was in Indra's place, a person who is not a devotee, what would be the consequence? That also we will see in another story. This happened when Narsimhadev came to subdue Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu challenged Narsimhadev for a fight, and Narsimhadev fought with Hiranyakashipu. Looking to the might of Narsimhadev, Hiranyakashipu could have surrendered then and there, and he would have been left alone. But Hiranyakashipu defied the might of Narsimhadev, and he thought, I have got such blessings. Who is this creature? Not a man, not an animal. But that is exactly what Hiranyakashipu had asked for. I should not be killed by any creature that Brahma has created. So now Narsimhadev is not the creation of Brahma, it's the Lord's own innovation. He came in that way just to annihilate Hiranyakashipu. So see, the reaction of Hiranyakashipu is he fought. And what was the result? He defied the authority of the Lord. What was the result? He was annihilated. He was killed. So see, the Lord has His ways. He gives you a chance. Gives you a chance to improve. If you don't, then He says, okay, bye. I'll take care of you now. I have got other means to deal with you. Sam, Dam, Dand, Bhed. There are 4 methods. What does the Lord have in His hand? Shankh, Chakra, Gada, Padma. First, He offers the lotus flower, sign of friendship. Just let us be friends. You accept it, you become friends with the Lord, you obey the laws of Lord, and you are happy. But you don't. You just go away. You avoid the Lord, you go away. Then He blows the shankh and calls you. What is the shankh? That is the words of the Shastras, the words of the scriptures, Dhvani. City मार के बुलाते हैं. He will blow the shankh and call you. He's drawing your attention. And even then, if a living entity is not willing to listen to him, then he says, okay, time for action. You want the action hero to come into the picture? आ जाएंगे. So then he raises the mace. And how does it affect a human being or any living entity? It can come in the form of disease, it can come in the form of financial problems, it can come in the form of mental problems, so many things. Or it can come in the form of total breakdown, hit with the mace. And even then, if a person continues to defy, then he says, final, आखिरी का जो मेरा final अस्त्र है उसे चला दूंगा. That is the Sudarshan Chakra. He leaves it and काम तमाम कर देते हैं. Completely annihilates the entity. So this is the way the Lord acts. He has got 4 ways. Sam, Dam, Dand, Bhed बोलते हैं ना. He has got 4 ways of acting. So these things are represented by his 4 symbols. So here what we see is yes, he has given us 3 helplines: Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. We have to take it. If we don't take it, then we have to face the consequences. Consequences is we go on defying the authority of the Lord, and then the consequences will be we will face the reversals. The consequences means punishment. If you steal somebody's property, what will happen? The police will come and arrest you. Same thing happens to the living entity. If they defy the laws of God, this arrest may be in a different way, may get some kind of a disease like paralytic stroke. Nobody can help. You are just confined to the bed. Okay na? Thanda kar diya. He has got his own ways of dealing. So you have to understand, the Lord can act in several ways. He can individually, selectively treat a person. Or he can collectively treat. What is collective treatment? We recently witnessed it. What was that? Anybody remembers? Recently we witnessed it. What is it? Bhad. Okay, that is also one thing. But recently, Corona. Corona actually, it invaded the whole world. It was a collective treatment. Collective treatment for what? Can you guess? What was the offense we committed? We were exploiting nature beyond the natural means, beyond the ordinary level. We were greedily exploiting nature, petroleum, to such an extent that it polluted the air, the land and the sea, everything. So then the Lord has to take action. He has to take preventive action or corrective action. And what was the consequence of that corona, you tell me? All the airplanes of the world were grounded. Would this happen in a normal case? The whole aviation industry came to a standstill. Could anybody have done it? Local trains in Bombay were stopped for 6 months. People were not able to go by the trains. Can you imagine Bombay without the local trains? Traffic on the road was hardly anything, it was just a trickle. What was the consequence of this? The air became clean. People could see the Himalayan snow-capped peaks from Jalandhar. You could see the Darjeeling peaks, the Himalayan peaks from Darjeeling, from other places. Earlier it was not visible because of pollution. People could see dolphins in the sea outside Bombay. Forget all those things, just near our temple. The peacocks came down from Malabar Hill, they came down to Hughes Road. They were sitting on the bonnet of the car. It happened. It was there in the newspapers. Animals came out. They came out into their own. Nature was rejuvenated. One airplane consumes the petrol of 400 cars. So you can imagine how much of pollution is taking place each time there is a flight. The entire aviation industry came to a halt. And by what? By a virus. If you collect the whole virus from the entire world and weigh it, it was only 5 grams. Virus of corona from the whole world, if you had collected it and if you weighed it, it would be only 5 grams. This small virus was enough to stop the world, which has scientifically so much of advancement. Nobody could do anything against it. The Lord can act in various ways. Krishna chose to humble Indra's pride by lifting the Govardhan. And even today we discuss the Govardhan Leela. And we are enjoying that Leela. Why? Because Krishna performs wonderful pastimes just to give pleasure to the heart of his devotees and paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam, and to punish those who are offenders to him and those who disturb the peace of the society. So he does all these things in different wonderful ways. This is Krishna. But then he is also telling that please don't mistake me to be one of you because I also look like you. That is this greatness. He comes down to our level, but we should understand his level. And only when you know how great is Krishna, then you can love Krishna. And when you love him, you will naturally serve him. And that service is known as bhakti. And what does Krishna do? When you engage in bhakti, sincerely give your heart to him, then what does he do? He does not exploit you like a despot. Despot is one who is cruelly exploiting his servants. He does not do that. But he becomes your servant. How? How he became the chariot driver for Arjuna. You know how a chariot is driven? The warrior stands on the chariot and the chariot driver is sitting below and his shoulder will come on the level of the warrior's foot. The warrior's eye is totally on the enemy. Nazar hati durghatna ghati. He cannot remove his eye for 1 second, otherwise he will be killed. But he wants that chariot to go in different directions. If he wants the chariot to go right, he will kick the right shoulder of the chariot driver. If he wants to go left, he will kick the left shoulder of the chariot driver. That is the position Krishna accepted for Arjuna. Now you can imagine what it is. It is not like a taxi driver. Taxi drivers, if you talk too much, he will say, get out of my car. But Krishna took that position for Arjuna. That is his greatness. That is what we have to appreciate. That is what the Lord is. He is Bhakta Vatsal. Vatsal means he becomes a servant of his devotee. So how do you conquer the Lord? Not by defying him, but by surrendering to him. This is contrary to the rules of this world. Can you conquer anybody by surrendering to them? That is the way Krishna deals with his devotees. You just surrender unto me. That is why he says at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shucha. He says, just surrender unto me. Abandon all varieties of religion. I will relieve you from the consequences of all your sins. Have no fear. He gives us reassurance. I am there to protect you. That is his protection. That is Krishna's greatness. So, we can see how wonderful is the Lord. And that is why he has to explain himself. Otherwise, we will never understand him. That is why in this chapter, it is titled as Transcendental Knowledge. What is the meaning of the word transcendental? Transcend means to cross the boundary or barrier and go ahead of it. So what is that we are transcending? What is this knowledge transcending? This knowledge is transcending the boundaries of time and space. We in this material world are subject to time and space. The Lord is completely free and independent. He is not subject to time or space. For him, being here or being in Delhi or being in New York at the same time is no problem. Space does not hinder him. It does not restrict him in any way. We are restricted by space. If you are in the temple, you are not at your house. If you are in the temple, you are not in your office. But for him, it is not like that. He can be everywhere at the same time. And he can be anywhere, anytime. Time also does not hinder him. He is not affected by time also. That is his greatness. That is what we have to understand. And these things he is explaining in this chapter. How he is, what his nature is. This we have to understand. Any questions? We'll stop here. Prabhu, today it started very late. That is why. Okay. Yeah, so any questions? If there are no questions, then we can go for Kirtan and for Shayan Darshan now. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.